I found my little sister's diary. I wish I hadn't. My little sister, Emily, always loved keeping a diary. She had stacks of them, pastel covers with little locks, each one filled with messy handwriting and stickers. She used to guard them fiercely, threatening to tell on me if I so much as looked at them. But Emily passed away 3 months ago. She was only 11. A freak accident at the lake she fell in, hit her head on a rock, and drowned before anyone could get to her. The funeral was unbearable, and afterward, I couldn't bring myself to touch her things. Her room remained untouched, like a shrine to the girl she used to be, but last week, Mom asked me to start sorting through her belongings. I found her latest diary in the bottom drawer of her desk. It was unlocked. I thought reading it might bring me some closure. I thought it would help me feel close to her again. I was wrong, first few entries were normal. Today we had pizza for dinner. I took 2 slices before Joey could get them all. He got mad, but I don't care. That made me smile. Emily always loved teasing me. The next few pages were full of harmless ramblings, complaints about school, doodles of flowers and stars, lists of her favorite songs. But then, about halfway through, the tone started to change. I saw the man again today. He was standing in the backyard, watching me through the window. I told Mom, but she said I was imagining things. He's always there, though. I can feel him. The man. I paused, flipping back through the earlier entries. No mention of him before. Maybe it was just Emily's overactive imagination. She'd always been a little jumpy, a little too eager to believe in monsters under the bed. I kept reading. The man came closer last night. He tapped on my window. He didn't say anything, just smiled at me. His teeth are so big. I wanted to scream, but I was too scared. I felt a chill run down my spine. Emily's handwriting got messier with each entry, her words more frantic. He comes inside now. He stands at the foot of my bed while I pretend to sleep. He whispers my name. He says he's waiting. Waiting for what? I flip to the last few pages, my heart pounding. Joey doesn't see him. No one does. He told me not to tell. He said they wouldn't believe me. He said I belonged to him now. I stopped reading. My hands were shaking. This had to be some kind of prank, a made-up story Emily wrote to scare me. But the way she described it, the fear in her words, it felt real. Too real. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the diary. I couldn't shake the image of Emily, lying in bed, too terrified to scream while some stranger stood over her. I barely slept. When I finally drifted off, I dreamed about her. She was standing at the edge of the lake, staring at me with wide and blinking eyes. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. When I woke up, I was drenched in sweat, and there was mud on my shoes. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe I'd gone outside to clear my head and didn't remember. But the next day, I found a page from Emily's diary lying on my desk. I hadn't brought the diary upstairs. The page wasn't one I'd read before. He says Joey will come next. He says Joey will join me soon. My blood turned to ice. That night, I locked my bedroom door. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, that grief was playing tricks on me. But as I lay there, staring at the ceiling, I heard it. A tap, tap, on my window. I didn't want to look. I couldn't, but something made me turn my head. He was there, a man, tall and thin, his face pale and stretched like wax. He smiled at me, baring rows of jagged teeth, and pressed a single finger to his lips. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. When I woke up, it was morning. The window was locked. No sign of anyone outside. I almost convinced myself it was a dream, until I went downstairs and found another page from Emily's diary on the kitchen table. He says it's time. He says Joey belongs to him now. I haven't slept since. I haven't left the house. I keep hearing taps at the windows, whispers in the dark. Last night, I found muddy footprints leading from the lake to my bedroom door. I think I understand now. Emily didn't fall. She didn't hit her head. He took her, and now, he's coming for me.
My girlfriend's ex-coworkers contacted me to say she cheated on me 3 years ago. My girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years. We're in our mid to late 20s now, looking at buying a house together and planning for kids. When we met, she was shy and didn't have much of a friend group, so it's mostly just been the two of us since then. She never goes out with friends, and neither do I. We've always been happy in each other's company. I was her first boyfriend and the first guy she was intimate with, and it's been smooth sailing since day one. 3 years ago, she worked at a high-end fashion shop for about 6 months. During this time, the company took them to a fashion show in Italy. When she came back, she left the job only a few weeks later. I never had any doubts or worries that she would do anything wrong on her trip. Last week, one of her old co-workers, a guy, contacted me randomly and said that my girlfriend and her boss, an older man overweight, bald, and about 5'6", missed the fashion show. When they all met for dinner afterward, my girlfriend and her boss didn't really have an excuse for missing it, and they left the dinner early. He also mentioned that they both had rooms on the same floor of the hotel, whereas the other workers stayed on a different floor. When my girlfriend left the job, her boss had a meeting with all the staff where he told them he had to fire her because of her refusal to do what he told her and their constant arguments. However, the co-worker said he had never seen them argue, and my girlfriend always seemed to follow the boss's instructions, like everyone else. This co-worker isn't interested in women, so I knew it wasn't jealousy or anything personal. Even so, I brushed him off with a blunt reply because I didn't believe him. However, this morning, a female co-worker of hers, who used to pick her up and drop her off after work, messaged me. She confirmed everything the first guy said and told me they felt compelled to let me know after seeing my girlfriend's posts about us looking to buy a house together. I haven't said a word to my girlfriend yet because everything has been perfect for us up until now, and I'm in a state of shock. Is there any other reasonable conclusion apart from my early 20s girlfriend cheating on me with an older man? I'm trying to build up the courage to confront her, but I want to be sure before making such an accusation. I haven't talked to her yet because of our conflicting work schedules, but I spoke to a good friend of mine who is close to her family. That's actually how I met her. He was shocked, but immediately assumed she cheated. He also brought up something that had bothered him from about a year ago, though he had convinced himself at the time it was nothing. He said that at a family event I didn't attend, my girlfriend got very drunk early in the evening and left the bar. She came back an hour and a half later in a cab and claimed she had to run home.
He said he didn't question it further, but when he saw me pick her up at the end of the night, he wondered why I hadn't just dropped her off earlier. I was actually home the whole night, waiting to pick her up, so she definitely didn't run home for anything. I let her go to this event alone because I felt she needed time to socialize without me always being there. My friend hinted that she might have left to get drugs, but that didn't seem plausible. It wasn't that kind of event, and my girlfriend has never shown any interest in drugs. Plus, we pool our money, and I would have noticed if she took any out for that purpose. At the time, I knew she'd already spent money on a new dress and going to the party, so we were under financial strain. Since my last message, I've done some more digging and found something troubling in her search history. She had been searching for adult videos featuring older men for different searches in the space of a week. She also searched for anal plugs and made a confirmed order. She has never mentioned toys or watching any form of adult content in our 6 years together. I know this isn't direct proof of cheating, but it's making me rethink everything. I feel like I might have been blind to red flags because I was so enamored with her and our seemingly perfect relationship. Now, it feels like these signs were always there, but I didn't think to look for them. I'm planning to talk to her tonight. Honestly, after these discoveries, I feel like I don't know her at all. If she needed to leave the party for something personal, why not tell me? We've been together for 6 years. If she had to leave because of something embarrassing, like diarrhea, I'm sure she would have told me. I'm afraid to talk to anyone else about this in case they bring up yet another story that adds to my doubts. After 2 days later, we had the talk, and it didn't go well. She denied everything and got defensive. It turned into a massive argument, and I told her I was leaving. We're finished. Since then, she's contacted me asking if we can try again. She even suggested the idea of an open relationship. At this point, I realized I never really knew her at all. My girlfriend cheated on me with her ex. I forgave her, but then I cheated on her. I am a 24-year-old sales manager earning $60,000 annually, and my girlfriend is a 22-year-old working as a GRO guest relations officer in a high-end club. Essentially, her job involves escorting and social drinking with clients, and I was aware of this from the beginning of our relationship. We met over a year ago when I was recovering from a heartbreak caused by someone I had been chasing. Initially, my girlfriend showed interest in me only for casual intimacy, but over time, I grew attached to her. She eventually allowed me into her life and, reluctantly, accepted me as her partner. However, around 5 to 6 months into our relationship, while I was visiting my parents out of state, she invited her ex-boyfriend over to her place, and he stayed the night. My girlfriend has a complicated history. She was sexually abused by her stepfather and has been estranged from her family since she was 18. Her ex-boyfriend was someone who helped her heal from that trauma and holds a special place in her heart, even though he neglected her emotionally and did not put much effort into their relationship. When I returned from my trip and noticed her growing distant, I suspected something was wrong. I went through her text messages and discovered that she had contacted her ex and invited him over. I confronted her after we attended a friend's event, during which her ex also showed up. She went down to pick him up, but with me. She claimed she could not show affection because her clients might notice. When I asked her about it, her response was, "I am like this. What are you going to do?" Heartbroken and angry, I left her. A few days later, she called me and I forgave her. I let her back into my life because I was emotionally attached to her. However, our relationship dynamic was challenging and I constantly felt unappreciated. Every day, I would come home from work and help her get ready for her job. This included packing her bag, picking out her clothes, helping her with her hair and accessories, and even arranging her cab. After she left for work, I would clean up the house and do the chores. When she came home, usually around 3 or 4 a.m., she would wake me up to help her remove her makeup and keep her company while she showered. My work hours were from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and her job ran from 9 p.m. to around 3 or 4 a.m., leaving me sleep-deprived and exhausted. Despite this, she would get angry if I did not pick up her calls while she was on her way home or if I was too sleepy to give her attention. Her verbal abuse and occasional physical aggression made things worse. Although she earned significantly more than I did, around $20,000 to $30,000 monthly, I was in debt because I spent so much on her. She also contributed financially to the relationship, buying gifts like designer perfumes and taking me out to expensive dinners, such as at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant for my birthday. However, her temper and lack of consistent appreciation overshadowed these gestures. Her job required her to appear single, so she refrained from showing affection toward me in public. At events, she would often spend time with male friends or former friends with benefits rather than staying by my side. I felt invisible and unimportant. On a trip to Thailand, which I had planned during my birthday month, things took a turn for the worse. She wanted to smoke weed, so I arranged it for her through a friend. However, the smoke caused me severe headaches and vomiting, which left me bedridden for the rest of the trip. She was angry at me for being unwell, and we missed a special dinner I had booked for us. I began to feel increasingly restricted in the relationship. I had dreams of pursuing a career in Jing and meeting people to expand my insurance sales network, but she would guilt-trip me into staying home with her on weekends. She would often kick me out of the house during arguments, telling me to pack my bags and leave, which made me feel insignificant. Eventually, I started entertaining conversations with other women, both casually and sexually. I am conventionally attractive, so women often approach me, but I had always been loyal to my girlfriend. However, I felt so unappreciated and restrained that I allowed myself to indulge in these interactions. I texted other women and even met up with some under the pretext of selling insurance. When things became flirtatious, I realized it was wrong and stopped, but the pattern repeated with others. As a club promoter, I was often approached by women at events, and I began to let them dance with me and flirt, something I had previously avoided. Last night, my girlfriend went through my phone and found the messages. Her initial reaction was to laugh and share screenshots with her friends in a group chat. However, she later broke down and cried, deeply hurt by my actions. I explained my reasons for doing what I did, but she accused me of guilt-tripping her. She said she does not know how to move forward from this. I am conflicted. I love her and have apologized, promising to do whatever it takes to rebuild her trust. We have a trip planned next week with mutual friends, including some women from her group chat. However, a part of me feels that I should leave this relationship behind because of the emotional toll it has taken on me. When I cried about the situation, I realized I felt detached, almost as if I was on autopilot. It felt like I was performing the actions of a normal person rather than genuinely processing my emotions. My previous diagnosis of dysthymia and antisocial personality disorder might explain this, as I often struggle to connect with my feelings. This relationship has been a roller coaster of love, pain, and confusion. I am torn between trying to make it work and focusing on myself to heal and pursue my goals.